Welcome back to Channel's Business Global with me, Juliana Olayinka, from right outside the Palace of Westminster in central London. As the UK transitions to a fully digital immigration system this month, millions of foreign nationals will need to adapt to new ways of proving their status. This shift, while aimed at streamlining processes, has sparked concerns about potential glitches and access issues, raising important questions for the Nigerian community, which continues to play a vital role in sectors like healthcare and education. With visa policies evolving and restrictions tightening on student dependents, the landscape for migrants is changing. Nigerian professionals and students remain critical to the UK's workforce, but the digital transition could add new layers of complexity. Toya, Happy New Year. It's a pleasure having you on Channel's Business Global. It's always a very popular segment when we talk because, of course, so many of our viewers are still interested in coming to the UK despite, some would describe it as a hostile immigration environment. Would you describe it as that? What would you say are kind of the big talking points from 2024 that students and professionals need to be aware of when it comes to migration laws in the UK?
I think globally, throughout the West, we can say immigration has been a hot topic in 2024. And like you said, the environment seems to be becoming more hostile. You know, here in the UK, we have the Conservative Party and the Reform Party. Both of them are trying to see who can come out with the toughest laws, you know. And you also see the on the other side of the Atlantic, with Donald Trump winning the election, immigration is a huge talking point. Even in the last couple of days, we've seen that it's a huge talking point.
To be fair, across Europe.
Across Europe, you know, AFDB in Germany and all of that, we can see it is still a talking point of immigration. But when we now look at the immigration that benefits the country, you know, we still know that there is a huge shortage in a lot of industries. So do we still want highly skilled people to come and fill in these positions? You know, we have HS2 going on. We have the plan by the government to build 1.5 million homes over the next parliament. You know, you still need
the NHS, which Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, has said,
you know, advancements in medicine and healthcare means people live longer. That means there is more demand for people that work in the healthcare sector and in care. So as much as it is a talking point, we would like to distinguish between the skilled migration that the country needs and whichever part of migration. You talk about the students as well. I was reading recently, it's on the House of Parliament website, NHS surcharge alone in 2023-2024 gave the UK government £1.7 billion.
Wow, that's a lot of money. What is, just to explain to our viewers, what is an NHS surcharge and how much does that cost?
The NHS surcharge is literally the amount of money you pay when you are coming to the UK on a temporary visa, like a student or work permit. You have to pay that money in advance for you to be able to use the NHS. So if you are coming here for 2 years, you pay for 2 years of NHS surcharge, which is about £1,035.
Goodness me.
That means if you are applying for a 2-year visa, a 2-year student visa, a 2-year work visa, you have to pay £2,070.
Exactly. And that contributes over £1 billion, as you're saying.
What? Just in 1 year, £1.7 billion.
It's a lot of money. So we are contributing, but it doesn't feel that way. Do you still... are you still getting DM'd by students, professionals living in the UK that are feeling a little bit ostracized, feeling targeted by the rhetoric? Because, you know, sometimes we see it online and we don't take it as personal, but some of these attacks are quite personal, aren't they?
I mean, we saw it physically with the rhetoric coming on when we had the riots in the UK. And a lot of people were thinking, like, if a student comes here and they pay like median of, let's say, £15,000 to do their masters, they pay application fee, they pay the NHS surcharge, like we're talking about 2,000 plus, just the NHS, and they are coming here to better themselves. They were invited here because the government wants the UK to increase educational export. You know, they want that money to come in. So if you're looking at school fees alone, you're looking in the region of about £9 billion.
Goodness.
If you look at, some landlords will not rent to students unless they pay several months in advance. So even myself, that I'm resident in the UK, I can't afford to pay several months in advance. But students pay this money. Workers pay this money because they don't have that credit history and all of that. And then when they now come in, they just want to work, they want to contribute, they want to look after their family. and
not have to go through a very hostile environment.
Exactly.
Yes, it does weigh on the mental health. The last time we were speaking, we were much warmer. We were in the studio, very cozy.
Oh yeah.
And I think towards the end of our discussion, you suggested that perhaps the UK shouldn't be on top of your list if you are considering the Jaguar, which I'm not suggesting anybody should do. Do you still stick by that? Do you still think people should be looking elsewhere other than to live and study, work in the UK?
I believe it's about knowing the options that are available to you. The UK is an option. Europe is an option. Australia is an option for some people. Yeah. So it really depends on the skills you have and where the demand is. You know, we are talking about the NHS now. There's still a lot of recruitment for healthcare workers. You can still look at that. Those are still options. Yes. You know, in engineering, you know, we are talking about the 1.5 million homes. HS2 is going on. There are some mega projects going on. When I worked on the Crossrail, we had engineers from Australia, from New Zealand, that they came here to work because there is not enough people to do it. Yes. But we had that balance as well. Whilst we had engineers working for us, we had young British citizens coming up through the apprentice. Yeah. By the time they finished Crossrail, some people had come in from an apprentice to become a senior engineer. So it's being able to get that balance. And as at today, we have about 125,000 companies that have the license to sponsor your work permit. Wow. So if you are interested in it, you just need to pull up that list and start checking what jobs are out there, what are the things that they are putting out.
And so before we go, again, we don't want anybody coming into the UK feeling some suicidal, some really depressed because they think it's the wrong decision. What advice do you have for anybody who's here who wants to assimilate better into British culture? Yeah. You know, what can be done and how can they overcome some of these hostile environments?
I think there's two ways to it. The first one is for the person that is coming, they should have a very good idea of what they are coming into. Yeah. There is a lot of information online. Even the government website itself is full of information that you can actually digest. Everything is always up in the open. Yes. How much tax you're going to pay, how much deductions you're going to get, what are you doing for NHS.
That can chop and change depending
depending because the laws are not written.
Exactly.
So you have to be well aware as it is changing. Yes. Okay, what new laws are coming, like in January now, the bus pass is frozen in London, the train fares are going up. So you are going into a society where you can actually map out how you can get from London to Manchester right before you leave Nigeria. True. This information is available. So when you now know the information, then you'll be able to know that, okay, if I'm planning to study, is the UK the best for me? Yes. Will I get a better option in Spain or will I get a better option in Italy? Because you are still going to get the same value. You're still trying to build yourself in a global marketplace. You're getting a degree from a big university to increase your value.
Absolutely.
So you can still get it.
The UK isn't the land of milk and honey. Though you can buy milk and honey, it is incredibly expensive. But there are options out there. And as you said, there are over 100,000 employees out there looking to sponsor.
And they have the license already.
They've got the license. All they need is the skill. And we have an abundance of skills, although we don't want all of our skills to leave Nigeria, of course, we don't. But there are opportunities available and there is help and support, which is, of course, what you do with your consultancy. Thank you so much and Happy New Year, Toye.
Happy New Year. Thank you so much for having me.